I get it, you're about to drop a few $1,000s on a camera that promises cinema quality footage, and you're wondering if you'll actually end up using those extra pixels or just letting them gather dust. A lot of creators I talk to say they've been burned by buying a high-end body and then discovering they need a whole ecosystem of lenses, rigs, and storage just to get anything usable. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through the exact scenario where the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K either becomes the backbone of your workflow or just another piece of gear you keep in the closet. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with this camera is the all-in-one promise. Blackmagic markets it as a compact cinema camera that you can just pick up and start shooting, but the reality is a bit more nuanced. The Pocket Cinema Camera 4K gives you truly stunning image quality. Think deep dynamic range and vibrant color straight out of the sensor, yet it also expects you to manage a fairly involved file workflow. If you're comfortable handling large ProRes or Blackmagic RAW files, have a reliable external SSD or high-capacity microSD, and you're willing to spend a little time learning the file management quirks, then the camera's strengths start to line up nicely with what you need. If you'd rather point, shoot, and forget the technical side, you might end up frustrated. Let's talk about daily usability. The unit is surprisingly lightweight and fits nicely into a small rig or even a handheld setup. The 5-inch touchscreen is a huge time saver. You can toggle focus, exposure, and white balance without digging through menus on a laptop. In my own test run setting up a quick interview in a coffee shop, then moving to a low-light concert, the camera let me switch recording options on the fly. I could record a 4K ProRes clip for the interview, then flip to a Blackmagic RAW mode for the concert without missing a beat. That flexibility is exactly why the multiple recording options claim feels genuine in practice. File format versatility is another practical win. Because the Pocket supports both ProRes and Blackmagic RAW, you can choose the codec that matches the post-production pipeline you already have. If you edit in DaVinci Resolve, the RAW files integrate seamlessly, giving you latitude to tweak color grading later. On the other hand, if you need a quick turnaround for a client and are using Premiere or Final Cut, the ProRes files are ready to go with minimal transcoding. This duality saves you from buying a separate camera just to get that second format, which is where a lot of the value hides. Now, who should actually buy this thing? If you're an indie filmmaker, documentary shooter, or a serious YouTuber who already spends time in a post-production suite and wants a compact body that can deliver cinema-grade footage, you're a perfect fit. The camera's user-friendly interface lowers the barrier for getting professional footage without a full-size cinema rig. It also shines for people who already own a set of EF mount lenses. Blackmagic includes the mount, so you can pair your existing glass without adapters, which saves money and eliminates the hassle of adapting lenses that sometimes introduce softness or vignetting. Who should skip it? If you're a beginner who's just learning the basics of framing and lighting, the learning curve of handling RAW files and the need for external storage can feel overwhelming. The same goes for anyone whose primary output is quick social media clips and who doesn't need the full dynamic range that this camera offers. In those cases, a more straightforward DSLR or mirrorless model that records directly to a smaller, more manageable codec might be a smarter first purchase. Practical strengths worth highlighting: the image quality is truly incredible, as Blackmagic says. Even in bright daylight, the footage holds detail in the highlights without blowing out, and in low light you get clean shadows with minimal noise, a benefit that shows up when you're shooting under streetlights or in a dimly lit venue. The touchscreen controls make on-the-fly adjustments feel natural. You can tap to set focus points, swipe to lock exposure, and see real-time waveform monitors, which is something you rarely get on a camera this size. Also, the package includes a decent battery, a power cable, and a starter SSD, which means you can start shooting right out of the box without hunting for accessories. On the flip side, there are a few hidden trade-offs. The camera doesn't have an internal ND filter, so you'll need external ND solutions if you're shooting wide open in bright conditions. That adds cost and bulk, especially if you're trying to keep your rig lightweight. Another practical weakness is the reliance on external storage. The internal media slot is fast, but you'll quickly discover that the smallest, most affordable cards aren't fast enough for the higher bitrate ProRes files. This pushes you toward pricier SSDs or high-speed UCI cards, which can bite into your budget. Finally, while the interface is user-friendly, the menu system still feels geared toward people who have at least a basic